Hey guys, first regards, I'm here, and today I'll be talking about a heroic Instigator bolt carbine build for the sniper class in patch 11.0 Space Marine 2. Now, the heroic Instigator bolt carbine is probably my favorite heroic weapon of the new bunch. It is either this one or the heroic bolt sniper, but either way, this is by far the best Instigator bolt carbine in the game currently. It has a better damage base than any other version here whatsoever, even on the headshot compared to the headshot multiplier version, and the ammo economy on this thing is pretty damn good, and also it just has a tremendous DPS compared to these on top of its damage, because it does shoot out a 5-round burst, which does make your overall DPS go up tremendously. So a great weapon, super fun to use, and the best damage setup I found for it currently is as follows, because you might think that perks like Inspired Aim and Death Strike are super good in this game, but the amount of perks you have to give up to actually take these two is like pretty awful, to be honest. And also the damage buff from these does not really take your weapon that much higher or like even close at times to the base damage of this setup. So like this is totally unconditional, and these conditional effects are actually worse in some cases than just building it this way, which is kind of hilarious, but that's just the way it is. Now, the first perk here is Headhunter, moving here into the perk Efficient Hunter. After reloading while having low ammo, headshots deal 35% more damage for 5 seconds. This perk is very strong. A 35% headshot damage buff for 5 seconds is enough for like 1 or 2 bursts, and reloading while having low ammo happens all the time. And the next perk here is Fast Reload, moving down to the perk Divine Might. Then we pick up the perk here, Increased Capacity. The maximum ammo reserve of this weapon increases by 20%. Now, this perk is really nice for us because our perk here, Versatile Precision, does give us back a percentage of our total ammo reserve, so the higher our base ammo reserves are, the better trigger we have off of that. Now, the next perk here is Great Might. Moving up here into the perk Recoupment, killing a majority level or higher enemy with a headshot with this weapon restores an armor segment. Cooldown is 15 seconds. Having armor restore built into your gun like this is really useful for us, and sometimes you will simply overkill enemies with this weapon, and getting that armor back automatically is really nice to have. And the next perk here is Tactical Precision. Headshots will deal 20% more damage, and non-headshot damage decreases by 10%. This perk is amazing. Headshots are pretty much all that matters in Space Marine 2 for any bolt weapon in the game, and losing non-headshot damage, it just does not matter at all, especially for a weapon like this. And the next perk here after this is Headhunter, and the final perk is Rapid Health. When your health is below 30%, killing 7 enemies in rapid succession will restore your health by 10%. The fact you also get healing on this weapon is super useful for both the Sniper and Vanguard class, because really finding HP regen on the Sniper is very hard, period. You would take weapons like the Bolt Carbine or stuff like that, but this one is really easy to trigger because this weapon shoots out a ton of rounds, and wiping out a bunch of Hormigons or Cultists and stuff like that will trigger this over and over. And that's pretty much all there is for the Bolt Carbine setup. Now, for the secondary weapon here, I do take the Firepower variant of the standard bolt pistol, and the bolt pistol got a base damage buff increase in patch 11.0, and on top of that, the gun strike damage of this weapon is now equivalent to the heavy bolt pistol, and to be honest, it's kind of power crap this weapon currently. It is very ammo efficient, has a great recoil control on top of having perks like Elite Hunter that can actually take its damage temporarily above a heavy bolt pistol, so really good option. And the way I build this weapon is just going down the top row tree here and taking things like Elite Hunter. After killing a majority level or higher enemy with a melee weapon, headshots will deal 50% more damage for 10 seconds. This will trigger off a finisher, not just a melee weapon kill, but keep in mind that you have to have your bolt pistol equipped to trigger this effect. And if you swap off the bolt pistol while 10 seconds are active, you will lose the effect entirely. Now, I will say the setup we have here does grant you a higher base damage for your weapon with no like conditional effects. If you were to go down the bottom tree and pick up things like Retaliation and Divine Might, while this perk is active, you will have a higher total damage in the top tree here, but I just prefer this one because things like Increased Capacity and having a higher base damage are better for things that I want to do in this game, at least for this build. Now, for the melee weapon here, I do take a block combat knife. I think the block knife is still the best knife for the Sniper currently. Now, the Power Gladius did get a fat buff. This thing is really good, and it's probably the highest damage overall, but like in terms of safety, having armor restore and range damage reduction is just really good for us here. And for the perk tree, I pretty much just set it up this way, taking things like Perpetual Strength, moving here into the perk Kinetic Energy. Each consecutive heavy attack increases heavy attack melee damage by 3% up to 30% for 3 seconds. Now, unfortunately, in Space Marine 2, heavy attacks are just way better than light attacks in like 99% of cases, and this one is no different, so this perk is very strong. And the next perk here is Perpetual Strength, moving here into the perk Heavy Onslaught. Heavy attacks with this melee weapon deal 15% more melee damage, pretty self-explanatory for the reasons I previously mentioned about heavy attacks. And the next perk I grab is Reeling Blow, moving down to the perk Shadow Stab for single target damage. Then I move up here to the perk Shoulder Bash, because I just prefer the Shoulder Bash over Distance Stab. Distance Stab is your lunge attack. This one completely replaces that, and Shoulder Bash just feels a lot better to me. But if you want to skip over this and take perks like Perpetual Strength or move here into the perk Hard Target even, you can do that. These perks are very good and definitely even better on the Power Gladius because of 7+ speed. But for this build, I'm just setting up this way, and the final perk I grab is Extremis Slayer. That's pretty much all there is for the melee weapon setup. Now, for the perk tree here, I do start off with Melee Mastery. Melee damage increases by 20% against Majora's level and higher enemies. Our Block Knife does a ton of damage, and this helps us out a ton. 20% melee damage buff against Majora's and higher enemies is a 20% buff versus the enemies you want them against the most. So, a really good option here. Next perk here is Adaptability. Reloading while having low ammo or manually activating Camo Cloak increases melee damage by 25% for 10 seconds. This is just a free melee damage buff for something you do all the time, which is, use your class abilities. So this perk is probably the best in this column, in my opinion. You could take High Capacity if you wanted to. I just find this one more valuable personally. And the next perk here is Dexterous Hands. Bolt Carbines reload 20% faster, and their weapon spread and recoil reduced by 15%. Now, this perk is pretty good, but it's even better in this column because these other two perks do literally fucking nothing for us here, so this perk is like the only one that's actually worth taking for an Instigator Bolt Carbine, because it's the only one that affects a Bolt Carbine. Next perk here is Marksmanship. Headshot damage increases by 10% for all of your squad members. This perk is just nice to have. A free headshot damage buff can definitely help you out at times, and the damage is definitely noticeable. Now, obviously, Squad Renewal and Purification is a far safer combo, but today I'm taking this one on top of the Renewal perk here for a 15% Camo Cloak charge on a headshot kill, because I just like going for full damage on this one. Now, the next perk here is Targeted Shot. The first range attack that breaks Camo Cloak deals 75% more damage. Now, in patch 11.0, they actually buffed up this perk. The effect will linger ever so slightly after the initial shot, so you can actually get like a full burst with this damage buff now. Really nice for our Instigator Bolt Carbine. Now, you can also trigger this, like the little damage buff here, on 2 shots of a last fusel if you built like maximum fire rate. Kind of a funny interaction. I'll probably show that at some point, but for now, Targeted Shot is better than it was last patch, and definitely the best option for an Instigator. The next perk here is Persistence. When Camo Cloak deactivates, you take 20% less health damage, and you don't lose control from taking heavy hits and can't be knocked back for 10 seconds. This is like the only no knockback perk on the Sniper class whatsoever, outside of Indomitable Spirit in the actual perk tree on your Prestige perks. So having this for a melee weapon setup, like a close range setup, is really nice for us. And honestly, this perk's health damage reduction makes you very tanky on top of Conviction as well. Great option here. Now, if you want to take a Lingering Concealment, you can definitely do that too. This perk is still very strong, and they actually buffed up Ambush a little bit, but this perk is still pretty ass compared to these two. So I would definitely choose between these if you want like a meta setup. Now, the next perk here is Pattern of Excellence. Performing 3 consecutive headshots restores equipment charged by 1. The cooldown is 30 seconds. Now, this will trigger off of 1 burst from our Instigator Bolt Carbine. And, we shoot out 5 shots, so super easy to trigger this perk for sure. And a 30-second Melt-A-Bomb, Crack Grenade, Shock Grenade, or Frag is simply god tier in this game. Melt-A-Bombs will wipe out boss spawns all on their own, at least in terms of like their Extremis spawns. And things like Majora's packs will get blown to shit constantly. So a really top tier perk, definitely the best option of all the signature perks here. Maybe one day I'll talk about like a little bit of an evasion build with the Power Gladius, but for now, I'm taking this one. Now for the Prestige perks here, I take Emperor's Grace first for 2 seconds of invulnerability after Camo Cloak activates, then I take Versatile Precision for our ammo economy, and the final 2 perks I grab are Conviction for a 25% health damage reduction on our armor breaking for 15 seconds, and the final perk is Exacting Focus. After a gun strike, you deal 20% more range damage for 10 seconds. This is super easy to trigger on like any Minoris in the game, and a 20% range damage buff is very substantial, and 10-second uptime is very long. This is like a strictly better version almost of the other perk here on Tactical Restless Fortitude. This one is 25% for 5 seconds, but a 5-second uptime is trash compared to the 10 seconds for like 5% less range damage total. But this one comes out to way more because you actually get to use it far longer and also just reapply it constantly. And that's pretty much all there is for this build setup, guys. The new Heroic Instigator Bolt Carbine really is incredible. This thing does deceptively high damage. It's one of my favorite medium and close range weapons in the entire game currently, and I prefer it over things like the Bolt Carbine at the moment because it's just way more fun to use. It also just sounds cool as shit. And hopefully this build guide helped you. And if you like content like this, subscribe for more. And as always, take it easy. Here's some gameplay. Bye.
fresh magazine. Changing magazine.
No bayonets. Wait, do they have las guns and no bayonets? If they have las guns, these win. Oh, that's a pretty easy answer, because like 100 Cadians? Or 50 Cadians with las guns versus 100 gorillas? I mean, I just have like 5 Cadians with las guns. Something of an accolades clutcher ourselves. Yeah. In a while. See, if every single update was on like the end of the year 2 thingy that they did, that would have been nice. That would be the dream.
I got brothers. Xenos descending. Stealth ready. Changing magazine. Frag grenade deployed. Unseen ice stop my target. Amelio line cloak ready. I am a phantom of death. Synaptic servant slaughtered.
A lot of guys.
Active camouflage charged. They shall shall this bomb do the most damage. Stealth ready. Deploying shrapnel grenade. Inserting fresh magazine. Unseen ice stop my target. Amelio line cloak ready. Alien fire. Where shall this bomb do the most damage?
Oh, that was kind of cool. I wish it sent more hordes like that in this game.
Wired for detonation. Stealth ready. Remain on guard. Our adversaries are keen to lose again. Spore mine spotted. Active camouflage charged.
Alright, just kill these guys.
Amelio line. More charges are required to create a successfully destructive blast. Amelio line cloak activated. Reloading. Stealth ready. We launched that cystic Xenos monstrosity.
That was a lot of headshot damage. Not super good versus Neurothrips though. Kind of funny. Like the damage is just not that high versus them. In my experience.
Amelio line cloak ready. Inserting fresh magazine. Unseen ice stop my target. Active camouflage charge. Mark that foe before it calls for reinforcement. Fester and rot. Xenos abomination. Free up stealth ready. They shall not see. Where shall this bomb do the most damage?
I will say this weapon feels tactical though. What's up, Astartes? We are currently playing a public test server, quote unquote. Just playing it offline because doesn't actually exist this server anymore. Going to this.
Where shall this bomb do the most damage? Active camouflage charged. Camelio line engaged. Their numbers are Camelio line cloak ready.
Your body is ready for the update.
Armed
Me too,
and
man.
ready. Trap is set, Captain.
I'm fucking ready.
Will reach your position shortly. Join the
Do you play much Monster Hunter RPG? You mentioned it a couple times in your vids. Not currently, I don't. I used to. I was a great sword main.
Stealth ready. Active camouflage charged. Synaptic servant slaughtered. Enemy next volley. Camelio line
Triple Biovore.
eyes on a fireball. Camelio line cloak activated. Active camouflage charged. Inserting fresh magazine. Unseen ice of fire.
Oh my god, that DPS reacting him in the head is crazy.
Resist no more. Stealth ready.
Get back here. I feel like these guys have like way too low of a execute time. They look like a Chaos Spawn or a Terminator. They have forever, but
Camelio line cloak ready. Tyrannies have no vibrant tactics. Inserting fresh magazine. Stealth ready. Readying next volley. I am a phantom of death. Active camouflage charged. Changing magazine. Their numbers are no match for our trading. We have a leader. Pernicious one at that. Camelio line cloak ready. They shall not see me. Stealth ready. Camelio line cloak activated. Tossing frag grenade. If that thing can still move like that, I doubt we can head it off.
is this the best choice of the new heroic weapons? I think it's like number 1 or 2. I think this thing is really good. I think it's definitely the most underrated of the new ones.
I am a phantom of death.
Like, the DPS is way higher than the other one is. The other instigators. Ow.
Fester and rot. Abomination. Unseen ice of my target. Active camouflage charged. We live. Xenos die. Perfect balance.
Sometimes all you need is a melt the bomb. True. We're kind of stuck with frag grenades this whole time, which isn't too bad. Really not too bad for us here.
In pursuit of the target.
You cut out.
Never thought to use the cloak invulnerability for lasers. The invulnerability on cloak Emperor's Grace gives you a ton of utility.
Lost the signal.
It's one of the most entertaining things about this class, in my opinion.
Into the dead zone. We have no choice but to follow. Let us hope this is not a trap.
And for the head, looks like one big ugly Xenos head. True. It's all forehead.
It is
Alright,
trying
where's
to
this?
climb. We need to head up. Out for ravenous tunnel. Inserting fresh stealth ready. They shall not. Ended the ravenous Camelio line cloak ready.
Like I'm trying to do something fancy. Yeah. If it isn't the guy who's aggressively bad at Spaceman 2, well, if it's not the aggressively British person.
We cannot backtrack.
Did you guys know that Froggy PhD is aggressively British and bad at video games?
Turn to fight.
Sometimes.
Taking the shot.
Shit. Not World of Warcraft, though. Let's go kill this guy. I got robbed. Absolutely robbed.
Changing magazine. Camelio line engaged. Active camouflage charged. Reloading. Support drive. Camelio line cloak active. Stealth ready. Rearming.
Aggressive, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, shit.
Changing magazine. Weapons up. It is not dead.
I'm the best at every game.
It is channeling some kind of power.
Are you? I'm not so sure. Let me kill this guy. Or attempt to. It takes forever. Nobody did get like a fat HP buff. Definitely noticed it in some builds. Wow.
Inserting fresh magazine.
Ow. I'm trying to be fancy. Why am I trying to be fancy? There's no point.
Readying next volley.
Ow.
Melter charge.
That was my trap. Oh shit. Pulled in and bonked up. That's how it goes. What do we get her for like fucking about?
Camellia line cloak ready.
Actually, it takes forever. Volcorn, thank for the prime sub. Ow, ow, ow. Thank you very much, though.
Stealth ready.
Hey, actually, it takes forever. Oh, I did not truck that up, did I? I bet he thinks HP stands for Harry Potter. Harry Potter? First, I'm a huge fan of Harry Potter. Can you do Vortex on Absolute next? I'm having trouble with the Vortex beast sometimes in Absolute. Yeah, I probably can. Let's see that. That's like 60,000 damage. That's a lot of damage on this. New Instigator's good, guys. I'm telling you. The top gun.